Hi, folks. This is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report. Well, we talk about different types of rods and reels and methods and ways to fish. Some people like to use ultralight, very small light tackle, where they can feel the battle of the fish. That's what light tackle does. It makes even little fish feel like big fish, and it makes that activity you're doing more enjoyable to a lot of people. Other people want to fly fish. They think that that's going back to the very basics, the most artful, the most poetic way to fish is just with a simple rod with fly line and a fly on the end of it. That's the ultimate challenge for some people. Other people don't like it at all. Some people like to use great big heavy tackle, and they like to go out and troll, and they use planer boards and all kinds of things to get their lure where it gets, all kinds of gadgets. But to them, that's pure joy. And then there's a way that people fished long, long ago. And some people still prefer that the most, and they find the most enjoyment in that. And what is that? That's called hand lining. And what's made me think about this is a person that used to live up here and they retired and now they're living down in the Finger Lakes. I just got a report that they went out in Skaneateles Lake and they caught this giant lake trout. But the way they fish is to hand line. And what that means is you've got a line, and oftentimes it's a very sinking type of line. It may be lead coated or whatever, so that it lets your offering, your lure, whatever you're using, go way down to the bottom. Because especially when you're fishing lake trout, in the summer, they're going to be down deep where the water's cold, because that's what they need. They're not even a trout, they're a char. They need cold water. So if you're going to catch them, you got to be down where they are. And by using a hand line, what you do is your lure, your bait goes way down to the bottom, and then you're trolling along or drifting along, and you've got that line in your hand. Your fingers are on the line. There's no rod, there's no reel, there's just your hand and a line. And you're going along, and all of a sudden you feel something pulling back, not on a rod, not on a reel, but on you, your hand, your fingers. You feel something pulling on it, and you take your arm and you yank back, and now you're battling the fish with your fingers in your hands. And it may seem very, very prehistoric, archaic, old-fashioned, whatever. But for the people that do it, they feel it's the best way to catch those lake trout. They go out there, they want to catch those fish, and they feel that this is the best way to do it. The way that they're going to have the most natural, the most attractive presentation, and the way they're going to have the most fun. And I'll tell you, I've done it before. I remember doing it years and years ago. I was doing a TV show, and I was on Lake George, and this is how they wanted to do it. And I thought, wow, that'll be interesting. People probably never heard of hand lining. So I went out and did that. And, I can't really, it's going way back, and without video to look at it, I can't remember all that happened. But what I do remember is the feeling that it gave me in my hands, my body, of doing that. It was a way that I would never have imagined. And yet, little kids that came from generations before me and went out with either a stick for a pole or just a piece of line and a hook or a bobby pin or something that they used to try to get the fish. This is the way they fished, and they loved it. If you look at old-fashioned pictures with them holding fish and a big smile on their face, they must have had a ball doing this. And I remember the feeling of the line in my hands and wondering and waiting and thinking, and all of a sudden feeling a tug. I remember that. I remember that we did catch fish doing that. And it's something that was different and, in this case, extremely rewarding because we got a TV show out of it. But it was something that I'll never forget. And by seeing the recent pictures of this giant, over 20-pound lake trout that was caught in Skaneateles Lake by a guy going back in time and using a method that most of us have forgotten. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report.